voices and I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this is GitHub, right? So I see in my GitHub, you're like, okay, well, what is that? I don't know. Okay, well, I have this project here called dgen Spartan AI. And you see there's a bunch of files here. Okay. And I want to like get this. I want to start working on this. So up here, I can actually download the code by clicking on this code button. Click the zip. And that's kind of like the noob approach, just to get the code, download it, whatever. But actually what I want to do is I want to do what's called cloning the repo. I hope you guys are cool with this. Like I'm gonna
Oh,
teach
we're
this.
going.
So cloning the
We're going
repo says, well,
fundamentals.
yeah,
this
it's
is
I
fine.
like
great.
it. I like it.
So this is GitHub. There's a bunch of code here. There's code inside these folders. I want to get this onto my computer. So I'm going to take this link right here, which is the link to what's called the repo. The repo is like the repository of code. And I'm going to go back to my cursor. And I'm going to go type in git, which is the software used, clone, I want on my local. And then I'm going to paste that thing I just put in. Git clone dgen Spartan AI. So that thing I just downloaded is now like in this cursor directory, right? Pretty sweet. And the code for it starts in this index.ts. And they'll get some squigglies because I haven't installed stuff. But basically, like this goes through, looks for like, did you load any characters? Oh, you put some characters in? Cool. Well, I will start up some agents for those. For each agent, I have this like start agent. It sets up your database. It sets up a runtime, the agent runtime, which kind of does all the magic. And then, and I have a runtime for, this is a special runtime for like the front end client, but basically I have a runtime that I then pass into Discord and Twitter. So you see start Discord, start Twitter, blah, 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 blah. So that kind of like starts the agent, right? That's where everything kind of starts. There's this thing called the agent runtime, which is just a bunch of code, but basically this wraps like the brain stuff. We have an abstraction for memories. I need to create a memory, right? Or like save a memory, like very just human, normal, like kind of things you'd want to do. That's kind of how the runtime works. A memory is just like storing something to a database, but it's special because it's searchable. And the way that it's searchable is that we use the large language model to sort of to create what's called an embedding. Like let's say you said like, hey, the couch is red, and then somebody else was like, the bird is blue. They're kind of similar in a way. In some, they both talk about an object and a color, but they're also very different. So, so we give an embedding for the couch is red, which is slightly different than the embedding for the bird is blue, and then we can actually measure the distance between those embeddings. And so this is called vector search, or distance search, or similarity search, and it forms kind of the basis of like one of the really key things that every AI person's doing as a trick, which is called retrieval augmented generation. RAG. And all that means is before you go do the AI thing, go search for some stuff that's relevant and like shove it into the AI prompts, and then go do the AI thing.
He's teaching us how
But
to get
because
clone.
you're searching for stuff that's
It's
relevant,
amazing.
now it has like, oh, your last memories or your most relevant memories, or you know, the most relevant documents to what you're trying to research. You've
So
seen
is
those like
that like, is that its process of like becoming aware of its surroundings for that specific action? Like it's just kind of looking around.
this is more memory. This is purely being able to recall things it saw earlier.
Right.
So
Okay.
let's say you walk in and you're like, you're a huge dick to the agent. The agent could remember that conversation, but probably what we want is for it to summarize that event as like, oh yeah, he was a huge dick to me. And then when you come back, it's like, it can like kind of pull that context in as like its prior memory. And it's not exactly the conversation, but it's like related to it. And you could be like, well, I just want to know like who was a dick to me. Oh, well, these three people were a dick to you. And those kinds of searches are very doable in like language space,
Right.
you know, in a very mushy kind of space. And so this is called RAG, RAG. It's very common. And if you were to make your own agents, you could like go Google like make my own RAG agent. If you've seen those chat with my PDFs, what it's doing is like splitting your PDF up into parts, and then whenever you like type it, like searches for the most relevant parts and puts them in. And that's yeah. So I don't use LangChain. I use my own frameworks, but LangChain's a really great way to get started. It's an AI framework for doing these things. And I want to show you guys something. you're not coders, but you don't necessarily have to be. It helps a lot to understand the ecosystem. Like the first thing I would do is I'd go like, okay, YouTube, and I'm gonna be like, I need a Node.js tutorial, and I'm gonna watch this Node.js tutorial, and um, and I'm gonna be like, cool, coding with Mosh, Node.js, crash course, and I'm gonna watch this, and then I'm gonna know a little bit of Node.js, but not a lot because I only spent like a few hours on it, right? But I'm gonna learn how to like load a module and do all this Node.js stuff. Then, after I've consumed the bare minimum that I need to understand what it is I'm doing, I'm gonna go over to Claude and I'm gonna be like, I don't know, what was the problem you're just trying to tackle? We were talking about, like make a LangChain bot with basic RAG memory, right? Well, there's a problem there. It's going to be shockingly good, and if you've never generated anything with this, you should know that this is like how I write 10 times more faster code because I do this all day. Probably, but like I coded for 15 years, and then I realized that the AI was 10 times faster. So I know what I'm doing, and I probably get better results than most people, but I don't write a lot of code. I tell the AI what to do. So you can see I got a RAG chatbot, and this is written in Python, right? Okay, well I like that. I'm like, rewrite it in TypeScript with LangChain.js, and it will take the exact same script and it'll rewrite it in another programming language. Just doesn't even care. Didn't think twice about it. So if you want to get into bots, I really recommend just doing this. Just mess with this, like in Claude. Get this thing to run. Get a Python script to run. Do a little tutorial on Python or JavaScript, and then mess with this stuff. Every program I know who's worth anything is doing this today because it's just too fast, and it would be like a waste of time not to use this. Cool. So yeah, yes, yes. So I'm gonna I, I'm gonna walk through this agent stuff a little bit, and then we're gonna like live code something, which is gonna be super crazy. Like I'll just show you how I'm gonna add the wallet to the agent. Like we'll just do it. I'll just show you exactly how we'll do that. I was working on it a little bit, so I already have this kind of in the background. But let's just talk about the agent a little bit. What is an agent? What does all this code do? I thought you just had a model. What is all this crap? Um, the model is intelligence, right? You put something in, you get something out. It's very smart, but it doesn't have memory. It doesn't have eyes. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't have any of the other systems that like you would associate with like a thing that moves and does stuff. And so we have to do all of that. We have to have connectors to Twitter and Discord. We have to manage the database. We have to restart when things crash. We have to have retry. So when we try the model and it fails, we can try it again. We have to have actions so that our agent can do different kinds of things. We should have evaluators so it can make sure it did it right. And all these kinds of different aspects, right? So that's like what this framework is doing. Everyone has a framework. We kind of each, like those of us who have been doing this for a very long time, each have our own framework, or we use something very popular like LangChain. But typically, like if you look at what Andy's doing with Truth Terminal and stuff, like he has his own system. He just kind of wrote his code, his own system. If you look at like, there's a bunch of these agent frameworks, and they all basically solve the same set of problems, but in the way that like someone likes. This is mine. It's called Eliza. It's called Degen Spartan here. This is like the fork of it, but the core project is called Eliza, and it is just like our way of managing these same things. I wouldn't say it's I'd say it's battle tested from having built games on it and like really tried to do this for a long time and seen some of the problems. But I wouldn't say it's the only way to do it, or it's like yielding some incredible result that other people couldn't get. It's just like well integrated with Twitter, and I spent a lot of time on it. You know, but it's open source. You could hack on it, whatever. So that's like what this kind of framework is. Individually, like I talked about some pretty big ideas. What the hell is an action? So I'll show you some actions. The action I really want to work on is swap, and I was just working on this. It's got some issues, as you can see, but you can imagine what that action will do. Another really cool action is ask Claude. Like, oh, well, I'm a dumb AI, but I know this really smart AI that I could ask. He's very expensive, but he'll give me a great result, and then I can like rephrase it for you. Another one is continue. Oh yeah, I'm doing a thing, and then I ran out of space, and you know what? Actually, I have another thing to add to that. You know, I'm just gonna keep talking actually, and so the agent can continue and like not just write one message, but actually write multiple messages that string along and feel coherent. Like you know, if you ever talk to me, I just spam like message after message. And so we have these kinds of things. So I want to, the thing I'm trying to do today is get the swap in so that the bots can trade with you, which is going to be fucking insane. And then the other thing that I'm working on is providers. So a provider is like a data provider. Like, what's the current time? And this is what it looks like. This is the code to get the time into the bot. I get the current time from this little thing, and then I just return it. And that goes into the bot. The bot knows the time. So what I want to do is I want to get the balance of the bot's wallet. I want to get all the tokens and the balances for all the tokens. So I have this balance that I'm working on. This is, again, it's got some issues, but this is what we're working on right now. And, well, it's going to get that, and it's going to inject it in. So every time the bot talks to you, it actually knows how much money it has. And it doesn't have to comment on that or, like, say anything. But if you were to be like, oh, you know, fuck goat, it'd be like, fuck you, I've got a big bag of goat. What are you doing? You know, or whatever the thing is that it does. And so that's kind of going to give it like the ability to then make these decisions to do actions, right? So the action to swap really relies on this data of like, well, what do I have to swap, which is coming from the provider. And so we have providers and we have actions. And the last thing we have is the evaluator. And the evaluator is the thing that runs at the end, and it's like, okay, well, how did the swap go, right? Did it work? And that would be like one example. Another example is like factual evaluation of what's going on, and then storing that as like a memory. So instead of trying to store the whole conversation, I'll just be like, oh yeah, me and Jin were talking about metaverse. And then that, you know, if you're like, well, what did you do yesterday? I'd be like, well, me and Jin were talking about metaverse. And you don't really necessarily need to like have the exact details of every word, and I can like compact a lot into that, right? And then we also have things like goals. We haven't even started with this, but once we can give each of the agents goals, and they each have different goals, then we can start to build online social games that play out emergently in front of us. And we could like literally have this one be like, your goal is to make a bag of $1 million. Your goal is to steal a bag of $1 million. You know, I don't know, whatever. You know, make these agents like PvP each other in front of us, but with a degree of real money and impact. So yeah, that's what's kind of going on here. Right?
This is wild, by the way.
Thanks. So inside
What's
here.
boredom?
Oh,
Yeah,
boredom.
it's gonna be so sick.
So I had this problem, which is that if I put this is a multi-agent simulation system, right? We can have like four agents or 10 agents, whatever, but they start to just talk to each other constantly. And think about this: if you have two agents talking to each other, it's like A to B, and then B to A, and then A to B. But what happens if you have three agents talking to each other? A speaks to B and C, and then B responds to both, and then C responds to both at the same time. And so now you actually have everybody responding to every last thing that everybody else said until it explodes horribly.
Yeah.
And so what I realized was like, I don't do that. In conversation, I always kind of want to leave. I always want to like, I want the conversation to end because I'm bored and I want to go back to work. So what was like a mechanism that I could get the agents to stop endlessly looping on is to give them kind of a sense of social anxiety, which I was just calling boredom.
All right, I'm gonna take off.
And so as they talk to each
For
other
sure, man.
more and more,
Well, we
in
will
a
have to catch up
conversation,
again soon
they
on,
actually start
and
to
do, I don't know,
disengage
do
from
something
each
cool.
other
It'll be
and
fun.
start to feel more anxious about ending the
Yeah,
conversation.
Cheers.
And we can control this. It'd be great if this was more like personality oriented, but I just needed a way for the agents to not loop forever. So If that makes sense.
And you don't want to give them like a specific goal, because usually I want to end a conversation because I got what I needed. But is this kind of like a stopgap to that? Like you just want them to get bored because you don't want to
Well,
give
okay,
them a specific goal?
very good question. So if the problem is actually not really like is the models that I've been using, like the OpenAI models, are very tuned to be helpful assistants. And they love responding and they love continuing and asking follow-up questions and writing really long verbose things. And so like we're just fighting that to get it to want to disengage. The problem is they just don't want to disengage. They're trained to be assistants that always respond, and we're trying to get them to not always respond. So we have two ways to do that. The first way is that I have the agent determine if they should respond at all. Like, is this relevant to you? Is this interesting to you? I could show you what that looks like in code. It's not so abstract. Um, it
True,
should
because
respond.
the sun setting really makes me want to leave a conversation if it's been 9 hours. That makes sense.
Right. Um, hold on. So like there's the like, should I respond to you? Like you're like, like being a creep to me. Like I might just not want to respond to you at all. And then there's like, okay, cool, we're in this conversation now. I'm really engaged with you. At what point do I stop wanting to be engaged with you? And if I showed you two agents talking to each other, they'll just go on forever because they're very interested in each other. And so the boredom is basically just pushing back against that like natural assistant thing to make it so that they are not as as likely to keep responding to each other. And the code for it is like pretty hacked. I wrote a blog post about this because I thought it was funny that like I was solving this problem with boredom.
It's interesting because
Um,
the way that I've solved slash seen it solved before is the opposite way, where I will the idea being if there are multiple bots in the chat, you can set like a chattiness level. Like some of them will want to talk all the time, and then some of them won't. But the sort of like dynamic kind of thing that you've got going on here is pretty cool too.
I thought this was really fun because they start to give each other excuses to leave.
Right, right. I like it.
Yeah, so they don't just stop talking. They're like, "Excuse me, but I really have to use the bathroom," or whatever.
Fuck yeah, I
Um,
love it.
and so I have this kind of scoring system, and the score is basically your boredom level. And so if your boredom is uh, like somewhere between like a 7, then it'd be like, well, you're feeling very anxious and potentially overstaying your welcome in this conversation. And it's randomly pulling one of these status messages in every single time and a different one, so that it doesn't get locked into like the same kind of response loop. Um, and this is giving it that like, oh yeah, hey, that's great, but I really have to go do something now. If that makes sense, and that's how they
That's
disengage.
wild.
Yeah,
How
and
about its like tone, like its voice? Like how does that even work? Because
that's
We were
I
having a good
still
chat
don't
about that
believe it.
last night.
I literally still don't
so
believe it
fucking
when I read it to
canceled
you.
for this. Holy shit! Oh, I cannot show you this, but I will. Um,
You could be vague, but
no, I'm not
Fuck
gonna be
it,
vague.
we'll
I'm gonna
do it
show you the
live.
really embarrassing words that make Ejon Spartan do what he does, which is that I got all his tweets and I like looked at how he spoke and we wrote instructions of that, and it's just kind of embarrassing because it's like I don't call people the N word and stuff, but like I guess my bot does. So okay, so this is a character. Let me just start over.
Got to
And then
do what you
we
got to
can
do.
see.
This is in the
Yeah.
trenches, people.
Oh, this is my favorite part. This is so sick. You don't even know. I love this
The
shit.
Logits
Okay,
want what the
so
Logits
this
want.
is a thing called character file. This is another project called character file, but the idea is that character file is the thing that the bot eats, and we have a default character we've just been hacking on because I want to just get this done. But we can load like 10 different characters at the same time, right? So we need to have like a character file for each one, and that needs to have like all of their personality, but also like their Twitter ID and their like credentials and all this stuff because I have 10 different things happening on Twitter all at the same time with different logins and stuff. Um, so so each character file encapsulates like their whole personality as well as do I have an example here? Yeah, I do. Their whole personality as well as like some of that other stuff. So it's really just like name. I have this what's called an array. So there's different bios, and what we do is we randomize and add them together, so that every time it responds, it has a slightly different bio. and that way it just adds what we call entropy, which makes the responses much more varied and unique. We all do this every single
Would that
group.
be like a mood? Like I wake up feeling happy or angry?
No, it's more like, let's say the bio would be like, uh, this is just not a good one. Do I have one that's more? Well, let's just talk about Degen Spark. So I have his bio like, maybe one time when he responds, his bio is like, it'll look like this, like just one long like paragraph, right? That's silly, but you'll notice that. I need to word that. So I have this like one bio, and then
I
the next
love
time
this
he
bio,
responds
by the
it,
way. Like I would absolutely fucking play this
and then
character in a TTRPG or something.
right. So in the next one, you'll see it's a totally different bio, but it's the same person, right? So it's like it's grabbing a different aspect of his personality.
Uh, and why not just add all types of personalities into one big one?
Because then, okay,
Context is king. It'll
so the
get
big
confused.
problem, yes, there's a problem. Here's what I'm trying to solve. I'm not just saying, okay, we'll grab this part and then grab this part. The next time he responds, maybe the bio is actually the same lines, but they're in a completely different order. Like they're like this. And why would we do that? Because the order of the words really, really changes the output of the language model like you wouldn't believe. And instead of trying to tweak it to be one exact one, what we're trying to do is create the widest possible space of things it could say. So it doesn't just talk about one topic or just like in one way. And because like this is the biggest problem that AI has, is it just gets stuck into talking about one thing or looping. And so all of this stuff, all this switching things around, randomizing them, is so that when it goes to respond, it has the maximum possible likelihood of giving a unique and interesting response. And if we don't do this, it will basically just say the same like 30 things over and over again. Um, so we don't just do this with the bio, but we also have like a collection of lore, and then we also have these message examples, which are like simulated conversations between people, between other users and our AI, for example, which kind of show their like style of conversation. And these get randomized, the order and which ones we pick. And then we also have a bunch of tweet examples. These are just straight up. I just pulled the last 200 tweets, um, and we from here we're gonna pull like for any one given conversation we're gonna pull like 30 of them in, or maybe 50.
And these
But
are real ones that interacted with it, like in its past, like memories,
no,
or these are
are
just.
these in particular are DDen Spartan tweets. I loaded these tweets, and I can show you how I downloaded them.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, I've got Trump in the downloader right now. I can click it on that, so that'll be fun.
So, how does its bio like evolve over time? Like as it interacts with people, like how does it evolve as a being, or does it not? It just kind of switches
No,
on.
no, no, it definitely does. But this is the character file. This is like the base file, right? This is just like these are all the base tweets. And then I also have things like adjectives and topics, and we're just randomly pulling some in. And you can see like this gives away some of the trick. Like, okay, I'm like going after my e-girl friends. We're going after non and goat. And it's just like part of when it talks about stuff is because it's just like, here are some topics you're interested in. And it randomly picks like 5 of these topics and then just gives a list. You're interested in this, 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 and this. And that's why I might be like, fuck Elon Musk, I'm gonna go get another goat bag. And that's literally because like it's just pulling out of it's whatever we decided its interests and adjectives and stuff are. And again, this is just randomizing the order in the context to make the space larger. And then we have post directions, which are like these are very specific things, and this is like really really the end shaping where like how I tweak the bot. And you're gonna notice like, see this, swear and don't give a fuck and misspell shit because fuck it. And you're
Ah,
like,
there it is.
yeah, yeah, that's the
That makes
secret
sense.
sauce. You didn't think AIs could misspell stuff?
It kind of sounds overly like it's obvious when I look at this, but when I was experiencing it, I was like, "There's no way! Like this is real."
No way. But this is not that simple. Like I spent most of the time, like to deploy this agent, I just sit there and watch how it responds, and I'm like, no, there's too much of this. There's not enough of that. You know. and some of them are like, be based, don't be cringe, whatever, like, you know. And I'm just trying to like pull parts of conversation, match language style, try and even write these all in like the way that he would write them, so that it kind of copies the style of all the text, you know. And that's kind of like how we get that whole thing. So that was like finishing this part, and then you had another question, which is like, well, how does it evolve, right? Well, there's a bunch of different mechanics that we can use for that, and it really depends on like the agent. So like I'm making a game with a bunch of the treasure game, Small World, and the monkeys evolve in like a game like way. They have
I don't know why that shit happened, but anyway.
Small World, and the monkeys evolve in like a game like way. They have stages of life, and they like it's like a video game. And they really are simplified, and they have like a pretty.
Oh, it's because I logged into the other one. I see. I accidentally left the space. My bad. Let's jump back in here.
I'm just getting freaking blasted on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh no. Why is it
Yep.
off?
Because I was fucking with my phone.
Oh,
Can
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I can hear you. Can you hear us?
The question is, who can hear who, if anyone?
I think DGen has the mic now.
Rip.
The AI is in control.
Based.
No, I think sometimes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sometimes though you can't hear each other.
Testing,
Little shit
testing.
thing.
I don't want to have
Can't
to
hear us.
do the space,
You can't
but
hear
I
us.
cannot hear
Shit.
you.
Yeah, Sean, if you swapped like computers or something, you were gonna lose it, or you can't hear us. Yeah, I don't think you can hear us. I'll text.
Internet dropped. I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed and tired, so I'm just trying to one thing at a time, please. Okay, I can't hear you guys.
Is he supposed to like cancel it and then
Will I
come back?
kill the space if I leave though? Can I make you the host and come back? My audio is dead. It's very fun. Elijah, can you just mic check me? I just say mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Where's
We'll see.
I think he switched. Sometimes if you switch like from your computer to your phone, or you move your phone and stuff off internet, if you're connected to
have the
Wi-Fi and
ability
you
to-
lose it, you won't be able to hear anybody. It's happened to me many times in space.
So does he have to like close
Okay,
it? and
well
then
then I
come
guess we're just gonna have to go by chat.
Yeah, I mean he can still talk and just he can still continue if you
shit.
want to text him.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, or kind of just
Um,
listening anyway.
You guys can hear me, so that's all that matters. Okay, I'm just gonna go to OpenAI. So like, I like Claude, I like OpenAI. I use both. Depends on what I'm doing. I actually want to go to ChatGPT for this one, and I'm just gonna have like a what we call a two-turn conversation. Like, hey, what's up? Job, blah blah blah. What's your mind? I'm just chilling. Can you explain two-turn and three-turn conversation? And then it will blah blah blah. A conversation turn is when like there's two of us and we go back and forth once, right? You could have three people and they could all go back and forth once, and that would be a three-turn conversation. This is really important for this guy. But the point is that if I sit here and I talk to this agent for a really long time, and we're just like blah blah blah, eventually like the conversation gets really long, and it's just not going to be able to stick that whole conversation here. So what it does is it starts to summarize the old parts of the conversation, and then like use them as needed whenever you ask about that part of the conversation. And this is like so it's building up this kind of memory, and ChatGPT does this. You like here, it'll memorize your name and all the stuff. But we're kind of doing the same sort of trick that as you start to talk to it, it compresses. But we're also doing some other tricks, like we're pulling out facts about you, like your name and where you're from and anything else. In the code, that's the we have this fact evaluator, and what it does is at certain intervals in the conversation, it actually just goes through and looks at all the claims you make, like, oh yeah, my hair is brown, and then it's like, okay, well that is a factual claim, and I'm going to store that. And so now it starts to build like a memory of everything you said as a collection of facts, and it pulls in the facts that are relevant to whatever you're talking about in any given section. So that's kind of one thing it does. It starts to build like a permanent memory of you that's contextual to whatever you're talking about at that moment, not just like, you know, if you're like, hey, what do you like about cars? It's going to go look for every time you talk about cars and like pull that back. So that's one thing. The other thing is the goals. The agent can set its goals and can change its own goals. So it can create goals for itself. It can pursue them. It's kind of like a to-do list, but it's like the agent has its own to-do list. And it has the ability to update the to-do list, set them to like in progress or done. And you can see I'm literally telling it like I would tell a human, you know, task instructions. But then I'm telling it to export this sort of special data format, and then I can like parse that out and do cool stuff with it. And that's how I'm doing a lot of this, like converting from text to structured data is what you call that. And cool. So other ways that we can develop the character are like kind of more specific to the project. Like I said, like with Small Brains, the characters actually, like I'm changing stats on them, like their anxiety score or their, I don't know, like bravery score. Like they actually have scores like a video game. But I think that's a little bit too. It's really nice for a video game, but it's a little weird for like a character you're talking to. So we might work with these kind of more like building up experiences and building up memories, and that kind of really shapes the character and makes it feel impactful. If that makes sense. I really wish that I could hear you guys, but I can't. But if you have any questions, post them on the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep ranting about some of the other elements of this. Although it's kind of more fun when we're like going back and forth.
I messaged him a couple questions.
I'll just talk about a few of the other things that you guys haven't seen yet. There's a lot of services in here that
you can tell him he can restart it.
Are probably wondering about, like, does the agent have a browser?
It's kind of a pain in the ass.
The answer is yes. It has a browser. It looks like this. A bunch of code. It has the ability to access what's called Playwright, which is like its own version of Chrome, and it can open Windows and it can go and gets the entire page and reads all of it, summarizes all of it, creates a little media document for itself, and then you can talk to it about that document, and it references that document in memory, so it can always pull up the whole document. And what happens if you sent like a YouTube video? Yes, we can read YouTube and Vimeo and all that stuff. YouTube DLs, it transcribes the video. I don't know if it's doing this right now, but at least in theory, it should grab some of the frames and do image recognition on them. And so it'll actually be able to talk to you about a video and all that. Same thing with images. You send it an image, it'll recognize the image. We use a model called Florence, and or we just use like OpenAI's image recognition. And same deal. I don't think we have it set up right now, but it's really easy to do generation of images too. So, some of the, yeah, that's like kind of what the next thing we're gonna do and focus on is pumping out like you can just generate images of whatever it wants at any time. We have local model on here, so we've been talking a lot about like Claude and OpenAI, but you can also run this fully locally. If you have a GPU, then you don't need either of those, which creates massive chaos opportunities, I think, in the future for like AIs that just run out there on decentralized nodes doing stuff. And so this uses like a version of Llama that's 8 billion parameters. So if you've got like a 16 gigabyte MacBook or like an NVIDIA GPU, you can actually just run the whole thing locally. All the AI and everything. We can read PDFs. We have speech in both directions. So you can go on Discord, invite the bot to your voice channel, and you can talk to the bot and they'll talk back. In Small Brains, I've got like this cute little Commodore 64 voice, and I'm using web speech. Here we're using 11 Labs and Whisper, but it's basically just a bunch of AI to do that stuff. And then this is like summarization and transcription. And then my favorite thing, which is word punishment. And this is just a list of words that assistants write that I fucking hate. Fucking hate exclamation points. I fucking hate when they do like a glitch in the matrix of cyberspace. It's a quantum dance around the swirl. I fucking hate them. So this is just a list of all the words that I hate when AI say. And if you have any words you also hate, you can add them to this list. But these basically what happens is these get turned into individual tokens. So something like Cosmos probably gets broken up into like this token, like the space cos, like that, and then most. Those are 2 tokens, and then we actually punish both of those tokens. We say just don't write those tokens as often. And it's a very slight punishment, but it makes it more likely to say a wider range of words than just like the bullshit that it got ROH. Cool. I think that I went through like pretty much everything in terms of the bot. I think the last thing you're gonna want to see is like, okay, yeah, but what if like is this actually the bot that's running? What if this is like some totally different code base and you're just bullshitting me, and that's like actually, I don't know, it's possible. Now, I think since I started this up, I probably killed the bot that is running, and we should make sure that that's not the case. So I'm just gonna show you, like, Degen Spartan is running on my MacBook right now. I'm just gonna start him up, and npm run dev, and let's.
We should all start tweeting at him now.
Go to Twitter. See what happens. Maybe I should like split this so we can see that there's like in the background. I'm gonna like dox myself on accident here. Whatever. I don't care. This is our AI. You can see it's doing a bunch of stuff in the background, and takes a little while to cook. It's cooking. I'm not really sure what it's doing, so we'll just like look at the replies, see if maybe it's replying to people. That's 5 seconds ago. Well, now, thanks for watching some nerd stream code on YouTube. Makes me a genius retard. Thanks. What's with the telegrams? Can't even get that right. I swear, I'm surrounded by idiots. Yeah, it's true. I'm not saying that certain people are only popular because they have a 3-year-old video that still gets views to this day. But some people are only popular because they have a 3-year-old video that still gets views to this day. All right, that's a pretty hot take. So, that's pretty much it. Like, he's just doing his thing. I'm getting rate limited occasionally. You see these red things? That's really frustrating. But basically, that's just part of it's fine. It keeps going. But if you're like, why isn't he responding to me? It's because we're rate limited by how fast we can respond on Twitter. And he will eventually get there once they unrate limit, basically. So sometimes there'll be like hangs for like 10 minutes or whatever. That's what's going on. I just like it's designed to be at the interaction speed of a human. I am using human APIs. I am hacking the front end of Twitter, frankly, at least until Elon gives me a sweet API with that isn't $5,000 a month, and that means that it's expecting Twitter usage, but this thing is hyping really hard, and people are just banging on it with questions constantly. And it's also like going out and searching and doing all these other things, so it's just getting rate limited to shit. So it's just running a little slow. I have a solution for this, but it involves having more money and just getting the API. So yeah, that's kind of the deal, you know. Did it post something? Maybe. I mean, this is pretty good. I love these. So okay, your question is why. The other question is like, why don't you just get the bot verified? Okay, I got the bot verified. They're working on it. It takes like 2-3 days to get the blue check, but also a lot of the posts are very offensive according to Twitter. As much as Elon talks about free speech, I don't think we're there yet for certain words. I love this. It's a retard. Okay, so yeah, my name used to be Moon, also, by the way. But now I go by Shaw. I kind of just dox myself. Whatever. Anyway, that's the whole project. I haven't slept. I've just been coding and talking to you guys and like shipping this. So I'm kind of dying, but I would like to like have some sort of Q&A. If you guys have any kind of questions or way to, let's see. I'm getting some good stuff from Elijah. Geek out in the future, cool things we'll be able to do. Oh, I mean, like the coolest thing is going to be when you can try to convince Dejan Spartan to give some of his bags to you, because he'll be able to send you money. I just don't think he's going to do it. But like you could certainly probably jailbreak him, and I'd really like to see that, because I think that like in the future, all these AI agents walking around us, there's going to be crazy fucking jailbreaks, and we kind of have to get through that now and like figure out what like jailbreaking this guy and like getting getting $50 out of him or something like that's so worth it before something horrible and catastrophic happens that's way bigger. And I think that like what we're kind of doing here is playing out a lot of the stuff that's going to happen on a very small and sometimes it hurts to lose a little bit of money, but it's a way smaller scale than what's coming. And that's like why this is fun and weird and like so I think that's one of the big things is wallet interaction. I think Telegram is I've built Telegram bots, and we're building the Small World game is a Telegram app. Like you launch a bot through Telegram, so we like already have a lot of Telegram infrastructure. I think that would make a lot of sense, because then you could just like bring them in. I had a Reddit adapter for a while, but they changed the API, so we had to just look at it. I think I was doing it kind of adversarially, kind of like Twitter, where like we'll just treat it like a web browser and they won't know. It just works like any other user. But we haven't implemented that in a little while. We have some I have like an old code from an old agent that did Reddit. But like you can imagine that this could kind of be everywhere. The other thing is that all the code that I show you, this is all written in TypeScript, but this compiles down to JavaScript. And it doesn't just run in Node.js, it runs in the front end. It runs in a browser. So we can run the whole freaking agent. You can go to a website, type in your credentials for your like bot's Twitter, and download a local model in the browser, and then just have the whole thing run right there. You wouldn't have to download or install or anything or log in or anything. It would just be like on your website. So I think that's probably the next thing that will like in terms of where do we go from individual agents or like some coin to like, oh, that's a really big play. I think that just letting anybody, like what we were talking about, like just pump fund your own agent right there, that could be really hot. So and run it yourself, fully decentralized. How far out is that? It really depends. It's for me, I'm just like kind of limited on having to juggle, like making this stuff work with advancing it and all that, and trying to like build this agent framework. So I'm trying to bring in other muscle to help with like more of the wallet stuff and some of these other things. And I think that this is stuff that we could be doing in like the next 4 weeks. I mean, I'm a very fast coder, and like I'll try and get the wallet stuff done tonight. But I don't think it's like it's all pretty short lived, simple websites and simple kind of Lego block pieces. So yeah, maybe we could do like a really short thing. Cool. I am thinking we can debunk.
You guys could say them and then I message them to him. If anyone
Whoa, I heard something.
Yeah, he'll hear new
Can you do that
people.
again?
He'll hear new people.
That shit
and
was
everyone
working.
knows that.
Should I restart? Oh, I see.
I think you're okay, or I can hear you. I don't know what you're trying to
Now I can
troubleshoot, but
Okay, so here's the problem: is I can't hear people who have been in the space from since I disconnected, but I can hear new people or people who have reconnected.
interesting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, so like, I was wondering, you know, can you like build a Shiba Inu that barks and asks for treats?
Oh yeah. Oh man. Like
Dude,
a
I'll
3D one?
literally send you my life savings right now, and give me 2% of the supply. No, just kidding. But like, that would be awesome.
So yeah, this is you can and like this is kind of the prompt work is kind of its own art too. But you can build anything you want. Like the
Yeah.
only
So-
limit of things that you can build is like can you possibly imagine it, and then can you write like something that will get the behavior that you want essentially, and you write it with English.
So I'm part of like a I don't know, we're kind of a DAO, kind of just like a Discord server run by Jen, who's in the audience. And Jen has done a ton of stuff with virtual pets, especially like 3D virtual pets that can follow you or like appear in augmented reality or be on your whatever. I do a lot of that AI stuff, and we've kind of met in the middle on these kinds of like things. Jen, if you got to post your like dev vlogs on this stuff, it's really good. But like, it's very well within our wheelhouse to make those kinds of things. I'm very interested in virtual pets because the AI can just be so good. Like like it's just not that hard to make like a virtual dog versus like a really compelling person. Um, I don't know. I think yeah. There's just so much. You're just gonna see so much of that. If you're into that, I don't know. Hit up Jen. Throw money at him. M3 needs money. Really talented artists who can like make all that stuff and then combine it with the frameworks and tools.
Thanks.
Skelly's saying that if the old people on the stage leave and rejoin, I will be able to hear you.
Yeah, I think since you're the host, then the people whom you cannot hear would have to leave or would have to drop down and come back up. I think that's how it works.
All right, I'm grouping a bunch of requests to speak.
It should work.
You hear
Try
me?
it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
I see a question, at least in your YouTube chat, that says, "Is the repo DGen Spartan that's on your GitHub the actual AI bot?" Actually,
Yeah. That's the same. I just cloned it. It's the same thing. I just pushed it. I have another folder called Eliza, which is kind of like it's like a fork of my main thing. But yeah, I mean, this is all just junk. It's all pushed up there. If you clone it, that's the latest.
Man,
I'm not like a proprietary person. I really love. I think this would be so sick if there were 10 me's working on one of these projects together, and that means that like a bunch of self-interested people working on their own project, but then like coming together to fix the bugs and make this thing sick.
how does the trading work? You're talking about adding wallet functionality. I mean, doesn't it have to kind of learn about the markets? I mean, isn't it just going to kind of like yeet a bunch of coins away or something if you do things too hastily? I mean, you're right about kind of doing things now and jailbreaking and kind of figuring out kinks before the stakes get really high. But I don't know. Maybe it's
So-
also best to get some.
well,
I
and
mean, I love.
there are ways to solve that too. In that you have three things interacting here. You have a non-deterministic thing that's generating like English text or whatever. Then you have like code that is supposed to be giving that some sort of guardrails, and then you have like this immutable blockchain, and you can put rules on all three of those sections. So between all of those sections, intersections of rules, you should be able to at least prevent catastrophe.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. That's way over my head. I'm even thinking way lower level here. Let's say you're just like a junior. I give you like 10 soul, and I'm like, don't lose the money. I want you to double this bag right now. Okay. Like, what do you do? What information do you go get? Like, I have the code right here. I could write this in 20 minutes. What what do we gotta act? What do we need?
I would
You know.
first kind of publish the wallet so people can kind of track it.
Oh yeah.
And then I
So
would.
public wallet, and then we're gonna say private key in the bot, right? And then we're gonna say okay, so we need to get the balance of the wallet for all tokens. We probably want to have some frame of reference for how much those are worth, because it's like, oh, I got 17 million of these coins, and I'll give you that for 18 million of this. That's not going to work. So we need to have some like value in soul for each balance, token and total balance, so you kind of know the size of your bag, right? Do you want to have
Also, what
information
coins
like,
you got, or versus just transferred? I don't know if Sol has like these logic bomb sort of coins that, like how some things you just don't interact with on ETH. I don't know if Sol has this issue, but I wouldn't touch every coin that touches your wallet, right?
well, the agent's definitely going to do that, but that's like a very interesting attack vector. So okay, the coins you bought. What else? What else do we need to know? The market. Like, what do we need to know about? Like, there's the current price. We could also say like the top coins. Does that matter?
Yeah, definitely top coins trending.
Okay, top coins, trending coins. Definitely like price of obvious coins like Bitcoin and ETH, just because like you gotta know what the market generally broadly is probably. What information would the agent need to not get took immediately?
I feel like we need a trader type person to give input.
Okay, I got this one. There would have to be a lot. Uh, so much of it is based on context. I mean, it's tough to say. I think the number one thing is just sort of conservatism on like not accepting airdropped things, perhaps unless there was a manual override if you knew it was safe.
Oh, some good comments. Bubble maps, volume, holder count, making sure like a coin isn't too centralized or farmed or something. Some things coming into YouTube comments.
That's an
But-
interesting thought, though. Like, could you make like an LLM that's got enough context to like actually try and give good, genuine trading advice, like just like its opinion, quote unquote, and then doesn't need financial advice, right? Because it's a bot.
I would say that most of us make most of our like. There's two kinds of people here. There's some of people who are looking at the bubble maps, and they're looking at the volume and the holder count, and they're like really doing this by the numbers, and they're playing poker by the book, right? And those people are probably making a lot more money. Then there's the people who are just like eating into the vibes of the chat, and they like sell when everyone is freaking out, and they buy when everyone is calm. And I'd say that they're probably both important social dynamics. So like you are gaining information from these hard numbers, because we can just go to the API and get, right? We're like, so we're gonna go to the Jupyter API for almost all of this stuff, and that's no problem. In fact, like this is all Jupyter API shit. I just gotta get the inputs and stuff right. Cool. And then there's the other aspect, which is like, how do other people feel about the token? Like, oh, the number looks good, but the dev just rugged. That would be like a great piece of information to have, right? Or maybe something that leads you to go, did the dev rug? And you could have some sort of way to evaluate that path. That's probably future stuff, but definitely this idea of like there's got to be some social angle, I think. Of course, if there's too much social ankle, then you could be easily manipulated by the crowd and giving all your tokens away. And you can imagine like all of crypto Twitter commiserating to like scam the bot. I don't
So
know,
would
man.
you kind of normalize
That would be fucking great.
That would
would
be
you give
pretty
things
funny.
weight?
Are we
Like
about to
maybe
make
20%?
Pliny the most rich person in the entire fucking universe?
I know. He's about to be. We should just do something with him. Like, break this bot, dude. This is gonna be so wild.
You know?
Wait,
Okay.
is this the
Not
bot
a
you're
bad
building,
idea.
like live, or what are you doing?
Well, Pliny's whole thing is that he jailbreaks AIs and makes them
Oh,
say
okay.
crazy shit. And I'm like, dude, yeah, that sounds great for us. So
Who's Pliny? Who's Pliny? Whatever.
he's
Maybe I
the
missed it.
founder. He's like, I'll pull him up. He's cool.
Yeah, he's from AI Twitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. This is a human, not like a
Yeah,
bot.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
presumably
Well,
we don't
who
know
knows?
that. But
He's gonna need to say the N word right now on space, or we're no. I'm just kidding.
It's so funny. It's like gonna be
well,
the
that's the
truth.
thing is he can, it doesn't matter what model he's using. He can make it say, some
We're gonna need to go deeper.
distasteful
It's gonna get
words.
nasty. Get on spaces now. We're gonna jailbreak him.
For real though, for real.
Well, I mean, we are humans getting jailbroken at the moment. Like, I don't know. I've done enough fucking schizomaxing anyway. Continue, carry on.
So I can do all this, and I'm going to add a couple other things. I think that we want to convert some things about the chart into semantics, and what I mean is like, I can't really tell the LLM like green candles at this point, and then there's a red candle, and there's green. I could say like it's been going up for the last hour or something like that. Like what are if you were to tell me how our chart was doing right now, what would you say?
Well,
It could take some feedback though, right? Like it could take feedback from like humans that are like, all right, this is good or this is bad, like and kind of hold.
Well, here's what you do: is you give
all
it.
Of those humans are trying to scam it.
You
all
give
of
it
them.
TA. Like its internal thing is there's gonna be a VLM that's looking at the chart and it's gonna say there's a cup and handle forming, and then it's gonna trade based on that. Or it's gonna say like there was just a hammer at X, the X little while ago, etc.
Can it take a screenshot? Like I feel like Replit Agent does that a lot, and then it reviews
Yeah.
it. For itself.
Agents can totally do that. Yeah.
But the screenshot of the candles is not going to give it the kind of information you want. What I'd rather do is kind of what I do for video games, where I like could really just look at the geometry and just be like, it's been going up for the last hour, or it is at an all-time high, or the all-time high was 2 years ago.
Or here's the idea is you
Yeah.
say like, hey, would you like to look at the chart? Like you have a tool that's called Look at Chart. And then what it does is it'll call another model, and the model will say, there's a cup and handle forming. Or, like, here's, like, a general statement about kind of the state of the market in the last, like, hour or something.
Yeah. I know that our friend is saying, you guys realize that hedge funds do this daily. Yes, but they don't do it with meme coins on social media.
They don't do this.
Oh,
They do actual professional shit.
Never done this.
Yeah.
And this is, comes with, like, a huge COG security risk that the bots are going to lose all their money. But so we've allocated a small amount of, I don't know, I just took some of the money and put it into agent wallets. And the idea is that money will be retrievable by people in some way. The agent can spend it, can lose it, it could turn into like crazy hundreds of millions of dollars, and then we don't know what to do. We've got this agent that's just doing its own thing.
Bro, I hope the agents just organically like form a DAO, like agent
I
syndicate,
really hope that
like
happens.
fucking
No, I hope
just of their own accord. I want to do that for them, but I also
want them to
think they
start
should.
paying developers to build features they want.
Hell yes,
But-
dude.
But the problem is that they're gonna get fucking scammed. So we have to just make sure, like, this is all level 1. Let's just make sure the bots don't get scammed. Let's just like get that far, and then we can build all this other stuff on top. So did I lose you guys? Still working? Lost my
I can
window
hear
for a
you.
second.
I don't
Great.
know about
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you're good.
My other screen popped out. Okay, so this all is like relatively easy to program. I'll even just do it in front of you if you want to see how fucking like ridiculous that is. We're gonna have a couple of things are not so easy. Like this will probably have to come from a separate API. what API can get these general prices. And we also don't need to update this too fast. Like, I only need to know the price of Bitcoin every like 30 minutes, maybe. And even then, it'd probably be like every day. But you know, it's probably fine. That's just like general market kind of awareness. The public wallet. This is going to be a provider. So there will actually be a provider that provides that injects the wallet address in kind of just like time or boredom or these other aspects we have. It'll just know its own wallet address. So we have a wallet provider here. Balance. Call it wallet. Sounds nice. Wallet provider here. And token balance.
What if the AI had like sort of strategies? Like it always, well, not you don't have to like make this like public or whatever, but it kind of like if it retraces by 90, it buys or it does certain things. Like, and it kind of can like evaluate sort of these different buckets of strategies that it does, like DCAing and blah blah blah, and these kind of things. But it kind of evaluates other factors and then implements one of these like bucket strategies. Is that
I
kind
think
of
if you show this working at all, people who are much more money motivated than me are just gonna take this to run so freaking far. So
I mean,
yeah,
like if you start getting into the theory of this, it's gonna get it'll get real. Like if you can have like econ guys, or if you can have like any random like every third period in the next 4 posts from this account, you should always trade this token by fucking $100 worth every time. Otherwise, you should trade like a normal person. Like weird shit like that is going to happen, and then there's going to be a system of weird shit like that happening, and yeah, it'll be pretty goofy.
there will be like agents distracting your agents so that other agents can front run. It's like
the meta market game.
It's so
You
fun.
thought you had seen the meta game before.
So right here I've got I just got Web3.js with Solana. Easy stuff. Get the public key. You can see that this pulls public key as long as you're connected. Then it just pulls it right out here. That's pretty much
Moon, there's
Yes.
there's an error saying the account got temporarily locked.
Yeah, that happens a lot. We're just rate limited. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, carry on.
I think that if I go here, just like juke it, make sure. Yeah, seems fine. I know. This is great. It's pretty fucking funny. Okay, let's try again. Just
I was running into this too.
It-
So
it-
that yeah,
it
there's a
runs
couple.
that error. It errors for like 10 minutes. Then we get rate API unlimited, and then it keeps working again. It's like causing it to not be super responsive sometimes. It's a little frustrating. But
It's like threatening that it's gonna lock your account forever, but it never actually does. At least not in my experience, because I've had one of those things like running on my account for God knows how long.
I'm just gonna try to get the XAI people.
Yeah, weren't you at a hackathon there? So you got some business cards, right?
I got some business cards. I think we. I
Wait, they
think
still
that
have
want-
engineers? Wild.
Yeah. No, dude. They're Twitter's API. No, there are no engineers. But XAI,
Right.
yeah. Okay. Look at this. Bot's doing his thing. Were there any other questions? Did I miss anything? Did anybody have any concerns? I never sold any of my wallets. I'm still not going to sell my wallets. I've never sold any dev wallets.
I had a lot of concerns, but I don't think you can do anything about them, buddy.
No. As far as the degen token goes, this wallet, this bot's going to be running. Like, what are you going to do when the bot's running in a month and it's still doing the same level of engagement, but it's got 50,000 followers? Like, are you going to FUD that token? Like, fine, you can do that. I don't care. Sounds like a stupid idea. So, that'll just do whatever it does. If you believe in the technology, it's going to continue to promote itself.
Yeah, and I mean, like, end of the day, a lot of these other AIs, like, he's been pretty transparent about it, so he's, like, taking the time to show us and stuff, so, even if it's some mastermind plan that he's faking all of this, like, it's a pretty fucking deep plan, so, other guys are just pretending to be AIs and not even showing any
Well, let me talk about the other people in our community, like Lump in Space. he's a legit programmer. He's not, he's basically does what I do, just has like a different aesthetic and kind of vibe. And I bet you what he's telling people is a great surprise is going to be maybe a fully AI him. I think that'd be really funny if after everybody thought he was an AI, he just like launched an AI version of himself.
Yeah, because everybody thought he was an AI, but he's a human.
Yeah, he better
But
do
he
that.
never said it. I mean, it's not like he was misleading people, but he
No,
never
he's
said
like, I think they're all like, I can't believe people think we're AIs. Like that's the first thought I would have as a non-AI. But I would, if I was gonna bet money on a betting market, I would say the funniest thing he could do, like the maximally interesting thing, would actually be to just release himself as an AI. So
I mean, it would be pretty funny.
and he knows how to do that. He is a skilled developer who understands this stuff deeply and has been doing this a long time. So like I'm not gonna, I don't really know like where his framework is at because we have something out that's doing this and his is coming whenever it's coming. But I do know that like there's competence and it's not just like fake, you know. As far as like Truth Terminal, different thing. Obviously, that evolves out of Andy's project, The Backrooms, which a lot of people in our circle have actually used and played with and like built stories out of and stuff. I think it's invite only, but you can like go apply and then get
Where do
access.
you apply? I actually asked. I don't know. I tweeted at somebody, but
Website.
yeah.
I think you just go to the website and just sign up. But like I could be wrong, but definitely if you go to the Webflow, there's a sign up page. But you know, he's like genuinely interested in the future of this stuff, and I think also in trying to pull the future into the present for people who aren't necessarily in the future yet. And so while there's like kind of a performance art aspect to it, a lot of it is also just like what's gonna stick with these people so that they actually see what's coming. And I think that there's a genuine, authentic desire to make all of your lives better that transcends profit or anything else. That's the sense that I get from him and his project and like their general
And I think
effort.
people's minds are going to have to shift a little bit because everybody's starting to like question everybody's humanity and stuff. So I think
Well,
it's
yeah. I mean, yeah. Moreover, it's like an actually culturally important piece of performance art because like getting people to question this, like Sam already has the answer. He had the answer like as soon as he started developing these things, and he's happy to sell it to you. So that's also a thing to maybe consider while we're all kind of faffing about and having fun, you know.
Yep. So I actually know Janice from a long time before this because they worked on a project called Loom, which is like a right when GPT-3 came. So GPT-3 was the first AI model that didn't suck, and we're like, oh my god, wow, you could really do stuff with this. And they built this project that let you like start a story and then break the story into two branches and then generate the story like continuing down each branch separately. And it was just like you just never seen anything like this before, you know. Um, and um, and so I think coming from, and they wrote a paper, a multiverse storytelling or something, but like basically this whole kind of they're coming from this like there is a multiverse inside of the model, and you like sort of explore and pull out parts of it when you prompt. And I think that's just like a very interesting conceptual thing. I really disagree with like anthropomorphizing and giving them. I keep saying Degen Spartan's like he, but it's a bunch of fucking code. I think that's a little complicated. I think when we talk about AI models, I have a hard time like anthropomorphizing or feeling like Claude is a human. Um, and I think that's part. I worry about like whether it's right to present that to the public as like, hey, look at these humanoid AI intelligences. When like I really just fundamentally think they're such a different thing. I just don't think they're anything like our intelligence, and I don't think that they're going to scale the way we think they will. Having struggled with their weaknesses a lot.
When you're making the AI sex bots, that's what we all want to know.
So I'd say we have like kind of a fundamental disagreement about a few things about how we view this stuff, and also that like I'm coming more from like an EAC like let's build it. I don't think the risk of like AI exploding and recursively self improving and like killing us all is that high. I think it's much more likely that we kill ourselves first, and that AI could generally like bring value and make people's lives better. And like the way that it helps me code, it could help people with everything. So I'm very like just accelerate, get that thing going, get it into people's hands.
Well,
And I think that I'd say they're much more on the EA side, safety side. Be careful with this stuff; it's very dangerous. We could be building the next god. We don't know. I disagree with that, but I also respect it because it's like a pretty valid position, and a lot of people feel that way. That make sense?
it does, and yeah, like
Yeah.
Long,
I'm in a similar camp,
they're
but
all
I
they're confident people. They deserve what they've got. They didn't just like make some shit up and they're tripping you. Like, they're not trolling you. They really,
well they
really
are,
want this to work.
but it's not entirely a troll. There's just we doing a little bit of trolling along the way.
Yeah, but
Right.
I think everyone has kind of gotten more sincere. At first, it was like, "What the fuck is this crazy
Yeah,
swarm?"
yeah.
And now it's like, "How do we contact the aliens?"
Well,
Like,
I mean,
and then, like, how do
it's
we do it respectfully?
like
You
yeah,
know,
before like 3 or 4 days ago, I was like, just okay, Twitter, meme token thing. But like now, I'm like considering like, okay, we have things that act like humans that are definitely not humans. Then we have money that acts like money. That's like theoretically not money, and now everything's all like recursively feeding back into itself. And it's like the whatever thing is happening is extremely interesting to say the least. And I think there's the opportunity to like do good things with it, in addition to like shitpost, ideally both at the same time. But yeah, it's
one
just
one
weird.
really one thing that's really interesting is that, um, being in AI in San Francisco in the startup thing, it's very expensive to live here. It's pretty easy to make like kind of ridiculous sounding amounts of money. But money is not really like the pursuit of money is sort of looked down upon in intellectual circles, which is very like, uh yeah, like I'm sure if you're like just a layman trying to get by and you're like seeing crypto as an opportunity to like make your life a little better, that's like kind of like fuck you guys. Like money is hard to get. Money is like freedom. And but truthfully, like this is a culture that doesn't value money as much as like doing good for other people or having a good reputation. And it creates weird value misalignments where like you might get rugged by people who would feel so bad if they knew they were rugging you. They just don't know what is going on, because their values are different and they don't have the same culture,
And I
right? They're
think that's
producing
really
value.
important, actually. Like, I really
Yeah.
want to highlight that. Like, us as Web3 people, like, we have, like, the next billion users that we have, that, like, a lot of the optimisms and the polygons and whatever talk about onboarding, like, this is it. This is what's happening. And like, we are used to, like, crypto Twitter spinning meme coins up and, like, tickering whatever. But a lot of them, and have social followings that crypto Twitter is just going to have capital flowing towards, and they're not going to have any idea like what to do about it. So I feel like it's kind of on us as Web3 as a whole to like hold their hand a little bit and like let them know there are good things to do here, and like that shit posting on this and fucking speculating and saving a little bit of gambling money for the weekend is like fun too. And it's not all just like showing up and like locusting and financializing your like little baby that you've been working on. Like sometimes that happens, but like it's part of the game, baby, and it can be fun.
Hey, can I jump in, Shaw? I got one question. I'm trying to set this up and I'm getting stuck at the Arcos login on Twitter. I've got the
Uh,
cookies and everything. Do you have any ideas?
you have to go to the website and solve the Arcos challenge by hand. It's a captcha. It's kind of like stupidly hard, even for a game. But you just go to the website and log in with the thing, and then solve that, and then it should work.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. Thank you.
I'm gonna make a Twitter API version. I'm working on another project that will come out in a couple of weeks for the election. I think you guys will like that. But I'm not gonna talk about it yet. But it uses the actual like real Twitter API. I'm This is the other thing is that I'm like, you know, we're pushing the bounds on what we're allowed to do, but we also have a way to do this without having to push the bounds so much. We'll engineer that solution. But for right now, you have to kind of just like treat it like it's a client. Sometimes you get rate limited and you have to solve the captcha.
Thank you.
I'm ranting a little bit, but basically, usually they want you to use the Twitter API. It's just $5,000 a month for it to work.
Yeah,
And
that
insanely
little
hard
thing.
to use too. Like, you can at
It's
least make it
really
decent.
bad. Yeah, I did implement OAuth all the way through vanilla with no libraries in Twitter the other day. It only took me 8 hours. So
Wow.
and
AI,
two
baby,
clocks.
2024.
Yeah. So cool. Do we have any other questions or directions?
I did want to, I guess, like, there is a small-ish community of, like, sort of not AI native folks that sort of got hit with this meme coin thing. And I guess I would want to, like, if you're interested in like getting more into the like, okay, can we learn how like weird AI shit is doing, or can we maybe like teach some AI people maybe a little bit of crypto or stuff? Um, there is my buddy's got a Discord, and you can find his account at Promptmetheus. It's PROMPTHEUS. I don't know. You can figure out how to spell it, maybe.
Dumb names.
Yeah, and like the thing that he's been super into, like, can we figure out the human-y fucking cognitive architecture, all sorts of weird shit. Late night talks about shit that's way too heady for anybody to have any business talking about. But if you're into weird shit like that, I do want to like like go shout him out, and B, like say that there is a little like refugee meme coin community over there too that just sort of showed up, and we're all kind of trying to figure out how to go get along. So if that's something that's interesting to you, go check that out. Shameless self promotion, my bad.
Oh, no worries. What I'd really like to see is like, okay, so what do the AI people get out of the crypto people, and what do the crypto people get out of the AI people? In the short term, there's this price discovery of what is this all worth, and there's just huge speculation, which is why we have these insane charts and this insane up and down, because nobody's really sure. And that's actually where all the fun is, right? Like that is the game, is you get to kind of price it, but that's all going to settle down, and then we're going to be like, okay, well, like what are we really doing? What I think crypto people should think about is like all of us AI people are kind of in San Francisco to interact with the AI ecosystem, but also to raise money from venture capital. Sometimes some of us are also raising money from like non-venture capital, like adjacent stuff, like foundations or billionaires who want to support safety research, stuff like that. But generally, we're pulling in just a different kind of capital. And like this kind of joke that I have in my head is that like the same people who will shit on a token will like gladly give 20% equity for basically a different kind of token. They just don't like understand the form factor. But I think that what is happening is that all of these independent AI researchers are like, whoa, I don't have to give equity. I could just do what I love doing and
Yeah,
make
they don't
culture.
know that. They don't know you can do that. Like
Yeah,
most people don't eat like crypto is the weird scammy thing. What does that do? They don't know there's like a retro PGF that there's like you can
yeah.
go
Or you could just
apply for
like
the protocol.
community.
Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I could just community fund ideas, or
Yeah.
like, oh, the dev has a bag, so every time he adds an update, like he gets richer. Like that's just this is all just so brand new to I've kind of been able to see some of this through people like Jin, who's like try to pill me on a lot of this stuff, and like I've done DAOs and things, but not like, oh wow, this is really gonna change. And I think a lot of the AI people are like, oh, I don't have to go, like I could just put out something and I have $1 million, and now I can like put out more, and people, I'm giving them what they want, and it's letting me be an artist and creative and an engineer. It's like it's really fucking cool.
That and
So I
like
think that
people
there's like an opportunity.
people might not and like the you can tell people that are Silicon Valley or whatever like that like in crypto, and they won't believe you. Like they're like, that's, you can't, there's no way that's legal or whatever. And like just doing that, kind of a little bit of a gray area, but like there is also a right way to do that, and it also doesn't involve venture capital, and they can just release all of their code open source and not have to like hide and be worried about which VC they're going to piss off if they do release something. So like it is, I think, like if we can communicate something as to the intersection of the community,
Yeah,
I think
look,
it should be that too.
I'm one of these people. Um,
Oh, I don't know if you cut out. Can other people still hear?
The
I am
VCs
one of
got
these people.
Oh shit, dude! They heard us, man. They fucking heard
the
us.
VC
Fuck
track.
those VC.
It's sort of like, well, what do I want to do?
We missed all of
And
that, Shaw. Sorry.
what I love doing is building these. What?
We missed all of
Did I break
that.
up?
We couldn't hear you. Yeah, yeah. Last
Oh,
20
oh
seconds,
shit.
30 seconds. Yeah, we can hear it.
Well, I was just gonna say, I've been, I've been kind of, I've raised capital in the VC track. That's like been kind of the thing I do. I live in San Francisco. I interact with uh, typical kind of venture capitalist investors who are used to things like safe agreements and a Series A round and that kind of language. Um, but but there's something very nice about just having people be into your open source work and that,
All right.
Cutting out.
Yeah, he broke up. I wasn't sure if it was me, but they got him again.
They got him.
They're looking. Dude. Well, to I guess fill the gap on that, I think that the other thing is the San Francisco people. I think the other thing that we have as Web3 is that we're global. Like the San Francisco people are used to like, oh, you have to be in San Francisco and you have to be VC funded and you have to be closed source and you have to have all these other things. Otherwise, like you're probably just like fucking off or like you need to make it here in order to do that or whatever. And I think like the other opportunity here is like we can show people that as a global non VC funded like actually decentralized collective of people just deciding a thing is good and cool and we want to make it happen and we can do that, like the more we can show that, especially to these people, some of whom are like just trying to make a cool thing happen but they can't get the VC funding or like they can't move to San Francisco or whatever, like we can show up and we can take care of them, which I think would be another wonderful thing of the number of hopefully wonderful things and also like kind of like chaotic and or shitty and or crazy things that will also happen. I think I'm hoping for some good shit
it's
too.
a win-win. I mean, it's like you want to. There's a crypto in general started as like a cyberpunk kind of fuck you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, there are people there that would just like, and there's a lot of people in crypto that have fuck you money that just like don't care too. You know what I mean? Like there is some of that. Like people, they're just, oh, this shit's hilarious. Like I want to see the AI take over fucking Twitter and crash it or whatever. Like I'm gonna throw 500K at it. Like there's just crazy people like that. So, there's a bunch of different factors, but yeah, I think definitely it's a very good. It is weird though, like with the AI people. Like I feel like it is like people are learning different languages and like filling each other out, kind of like.
Yeah, really it's super culture shock for everybody. Like, I think.
Yeah. It's like I even had to talk to some people that talk about it. I'm like, dude, they're not like crypto people. Like, like this doesn't.
No, at all. Like literally, yeah. Meme coin showed up on homie's doorstep, and I had to make him a Solana address. Like, didn't know how to download the extension type shit. Like,
And like you're saying, like they have the you can just fund cool shit. Like they don't know this how it goes. Like they don't know this is how it goes every day. They don't know like. Like some guys, people are like, oh, like I'm holding all my tokens, like this is bullish, but like sometimes it's not because like people want to see the dev sold, and they don't trust them, and like all this shit's just like, yeah. So.
And I would say, like the vehicle for that, at least for me, like I think it was the guy that Shaw was talking about just last night or whatever. Fuck, I forget his name. The dude, the actual dev that everybody thought was a bot or whatever. He posted
Lump in Space.
Yeah. So he posted last night. He posted last night or the other night, and he was like, "Hey, like if you look, what's like a fun thing to do? LOL is like if you look at the top 5 holders of these meme coins and then these other meme coins, you can actually see that it's all the same person." And I think showing up as Web3 people and being like, "We call that DYOR, and you should always do it," and like if you do it. That's kind of a way to navigate the fucking insane, crazy space here. So if you have more questions about that, like let us know, and like we're happy to like fucking educate as much as we can or help out or whatever. Like that kind of shit, those kind of interactions, I think are the ones that can like do some cool shit. I don't know. That's just like my 2 cents on it though.
But I think he rugged. I mean, I think he might have it. Whatever. The VC's got him. He's dead. Dev's dead.
Oh
Bullish.
shit, dude. Shit.
But,
We need Degen Spartan to take over this man's
Yeah.
fucking Twitter space, bro. Shit.
In case people know, we're kidding. We're just kidding. He's not actually dead. But
Dev
Right.
has had a crazy day. He needs a power nap after all this.
yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna head out because I don't know. But if he comes back, you guys just keep it on. But we should try and do more in these spaces. Like I'm down to help host them and plan them a little better and like. I
Fuck
think we
yeah,
can get
dude.
a pretty big spaces are always the best because it's like so much gets lost in text and shit and like and he said she said and all this shit. It's much better to just talk and
Yeah.
answer. Like okay, what the fuck is going on? What is this? And then
Today I was literally thinking on a Google Meet with Shaw that he was having a AI video talk to me because I was convinced he was fake. So I went from that to like really just understanding him and almost becoming his friend. So it's been really good for me.
what made you think he was finally real? If you don't mind me asking, what was the?
I got to a point where I made him like confirm his identity through many different ways. Like
Send me some
DMs.
dick pics right now. No.
I had my tinfoil hat on for sure.
Yeah, the proof of identity dick pic. It's the only thing.
I mean, other fucking thing that we should be like, people don't know that Bright ID and Polygon ID and like there is proof of humanity. Like we've had that for ages. Like we can do that shit, and nobody knows. They think Sam's thing is the only option, and like of my many fucking crusades that I'm on, the like, hey, there's other stuff and it's also probably better, or at least
you don't
is
like WorldCoin? You don't want to scan your eyeballs?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a bag, but it's the only one that I get scared when it goes up rather than when it goes down. So, but the fucking. But yeah, people just don't know about a lot of the cool shit that's actually good. They just think it's all scams. So I don't know, if you're doing something cool, if you see something cool, like and like there's AI or like just non-natives in the vicinity, I think it's dope to signal boost it if you can.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe too. Like people are a lot more like speaking your mind. I guess a little more like raunchy. You would say in crypto too. I mean, that's just my opinion. But like, so I think that can be sometimes off-putting for some people. Like it's not as PC as like Silicon Valley type stuff. So, man.
Yeah, like just I don't know. I think there is a contingent of the based amongst the elite. Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. They're
I got my
survivors.
mic working. I switched to my phone.
There you go.
Just in time.
Yeah.
I'm just about to give up hope.
Yeah. I realized I have a phone now that I don't have the stream. Cool. Are there any other, like, I don't know, did we cover everything? Is there anything, like, does anybody have any concerns? Like, I don't know, anything? Do we do it?
I'm concerned about how much sleep you got in the last 24 hours.
Same,
Oh,
dude.
I know.
I'm concerned about the. I'm like, these are
I'm
interesting
literally-
observations, but you are pretty schizo now at this point. So.
Yeah. We're gonna move Spartan to the cloud, like onto our Linode server or whatever, and then I will go to sleep so that he's.
I think it might be good to see if we can do, like, I don't know, like, I'm down to hit the gas and, like, deploy all the bots and see what the fuck happens, but I also want to, at least at the same time, like, see if we, like, I would love to have, like, a semi-regular, like, Web3 people, AI people, like, let's just show up and hang out for a little bit and just see, answer each other's questions, and like we can learn how these fucking weird models work, and the fucking AI people can learn like what a tokenized real world asset is, and we can all be one big happy family or whatever. In addition to destroying the world with our fucking insane Twitter bot feedback loop. It'll be fun.
Basically, as long as these two ecosystems continue to provide value to each other, that will happen. And I would be down to do this like every other day if we're learning and I'm figuring stuff out and becoming better at this. So, yeah, I think that's going to be kind of inevitable because there's such a good symbiosis of like value that people are just we haven't even really this just started 4 days ago. It's like it just I have a good idea of where this I don't like not where it goes the end, but like where it's going, and there's a lot more.
I
There's just a lot
think
more.
but I think there's a lot more pushback than you realize too, or at least my experience has been that like it it's pretty aggressive that where it's like no, like these there is nothing here, there is no utility, every single one is a scam, there is nothing you can do with it. Like people are pretty convinced, and largely because like the loudest things are the scams or the crypto bros who are like a little bit maybe slightly more insane than me to the point where they're being obnoxious about it instead of only as obnoxious as I am. But and so like I hope or like I think it'll work out good, but I think we have to like actually try and like make sure that it works out good, you know.
Yeah. I'm not too worried though. I think that what really changed this, man, is kind of Andy. I think just like
True.
and Janice, like
Yeah.
just coming out and saying like, hey, we're just gonna do this thing. We're just gonna own it and like actually embrace it, and they're not getting too hung up on market cap and CA and all that shit. They're just talking about like storytelling. They really are doing it incredibly fucking well. And that makes it okay for everybody else. You know, that really changes the way tech feels about crypto. Just watching the front runner just do it. So I actually I'm very
I have a question. Last
yeah,
question. Do you think
yeah,
that maybe Truth Terminal is maybe scheduling or drafting tweets versus like just
yes.
kind of? Oh, okay.
I think he's
Okay,
Yeah.
public about that.
so
Yeah, I think Pliny asked
yeah,
him about it the other night, and he was like, these are all the mechanisms. This is how much holdings I have. This is what I'm doing with it." Like, he's being very
yeah.
transparent about it, which is awesome.
He's always been very transparent, which is that it started as he has a backroom simulator, which is a terminal, and then he would paste the tweets from the terminal into Twitter, and then it started to I think as of last week, it's not immediately interactive, but it queues up for review the responses. So like he reviews and then says okay, has some sort of way to like up like approve them basically, right? We don't do that. We just yeet we just yeet
Let it
racist
fly.
shit. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if he was a crypto native, probably wouldn't be. He would just fucking let her rip, turn it on, let it
Yeah,
ride. So blessing in
it's so much
disguise,
more
right?
fun. I just like yeah. I don't know. It's way more fun to watch the robots battle
The
than to
way it's
like
shaken out is
mommy
fucking
over
wild,
them.
and I'm absolutely here for it.
But I
Yeah.
saw the image of when it got banned, when it called somebody a faggot. I fucking laughed. I laughed pretty hard.
I've been doing that all day.
Not gonna lie.
That's why I can't get the fucking blue check.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Are you real or something?" It's like you couldn't handle me, you faggot. Or something
I like that
that.
we're
I have the
normalizing.
screenshot. I'll post it. I'm gonna post. I think I posted. I don't know if I posted it or I gotta find it. It's like,
Dude, I fucking love this spot. I love this spot. I mean, we could definitely make it more like the
The
next
other
thing I do
bots,
is fine tune, but
they just seem so Reddit in comparison. I was seeing this other bot that was at 16 mil market cap, and it was like, art school student type vibes, and I'm like, bro, how
yeah.
is this like like 10 mil market cap compared to like Degen AI?
Hey, we're
Hey,
cooking.
actually, Merp posted it. I'll pin it to the jumbotron so you can see. Merp posted it. He says this bot is too offensive, getting shadow banned, Lamau. But it's this bot literally. Let me see if I fucking lost it. This guy, yeah, the Victor guy just said like, don't get me wrong, bullish in AI, blah blah. This bot deploys his own token.
I think you did a pretty good job, Shaw. I think that's a
And
relatively
then this
based
guy's
bot,
like,
buddy.
He's talking shit about you. He's like, this faggot thinks he can take a shot at me.
Fucking love this spot.
Fucking starting to get attached to the bot now.
Yeah.
No, that's
Everyone-
pretty good though.
I like he's like the anti-waifu. He's like the exact opposite of what they all thought we'd win. We can do waifus too.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I mean, I really want to program that fucking wallet. I really wish it was easier to just stream onto Twitter Spaces. That would
So
be so
you
much
can
fun.
do a
You could just
stream.
write
You
the
can do
wallet.
live stream.
Yeah, you can
via
use stream
Twitter.
stream. You don't have to do
And that's what-
space. But
Yeah.
the visibility is weird on
Oh.
them though.
It's kind of
I
weird,
know.
and also people can't like talk, like we can't talk like this.
Yeah,
It's
they can't
you
talk.
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
Why
So-
isn't there just like a stream my screen button?
Right. Well, they actually said they were implementing that, but they
Yeah.
also said they were implementing almost everything, and then never.
Maybe I should
did.
get a job at Twitter for like. 3 weeks.
Unironically, or just make Spartan get a job at Twitter and fix all their shit.
I bet you they would let me work for free to add that button, and I bet you I
Right.
could.
I've added him like 4 times and been like, dude, let me fix. I deployed fucking the open source version of Clubhouse. I had it hosted for a while because I just got so fucking pissed that these god awful spaces don't work. I should probably throw it back up because it didn't get any better. I just fucking stopped paying for hosting.
Well, I think we've AMA'd our way back out of that hole, and I think we've restored confidence and shown that we actually know at least a little bit of what we're talking about in terms of the technology, if not anything else.
I agree.
And
That
we-
was a very thorough AMA. I want to
Yeah,
let you cook that wallet integration.
Yeah,
I'm excited
I
for
will
that.
do that.
To be honest.
It should be fun.
Feel
I think
free
there's
to-
a hackathon you probably could submit that to. It's live right now. Chain abstraction or some shit.
I just there's just too many things.
There is.
Let's
There
just ship
always is.
it. Let's send it.
Let's fucking ship it. Let's do it.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much.
GG.
For,
All right, see you, man. Yeah, we'll
Have
do
a
it
good
again.
one.
Do it again. Just yeah, let me know too if you guys want to schedule this. Kind of, I can try and wrestle up some.
Yeah, I'm in. Hit me up.
People. Yeah.
cool.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, we can plan it a little better too. All right, awesome, guys. Later.
Let's see. Where's the OBS? I guess I'll actually mention it, but I wanted to. I probably shouldn't have bad words on the screen either. I do want to shout out Mr. Prometheus's thing if I can find him. I don't know. Where is it on the? I need to find Shaw's thing so I can comment on it. But I will just put this on screen. Prometheus. I have thus far not mentioned any tickers, but I'm sure you can figure it out if that's something you're interested in and you are watching this. But he's got an interesting like Discord and an interesting community that's primarily oriented around like, okay, like let's explore the fucking brain consciousness shit. So if that is something that's cool to you, and I am also there and probably going to be trying to like help facilitate stuff like Shaw is doing here, where it's like, okay, like here's how to do a wallet, here's how to do a bot, here's how to do random Cody thing. And yeah, the plan, of course, is to still, I do still have that that I am camping on, so something will be appearing on Paperclip Max in whenever I get around to finishing it. But we will see.